Are you excited to talk about Cursing the Poor?
Oh yeah, I don't really remember the Groot episodes. I forgot to rewatch them today.
You know what? It's okay, Jake, because I've got the Wikipedia.
Oh, perfect.
Hello and welcome to Marvel Cinematic University, where each and every week I teach Jacob something about the Marvel Cinematic Universe that he probably didn't know and probably still doesn't because he's the worst student ever. Hello, Jacob.
Hello.
I added the worst student ever to that part when I'm supposed to add it to this part. I'm your host and Professor Alix, and this is the worst student ever, Jacob.
Oh, you didn't have to come at me twice.
Well, I didn't have to do that once. Let me just make sure there's no chocolate on my face. The entire, and you can go back and watch it and give me the double views. The entire episode last week, I had chocolate on my lip.
Oh, really?
I wanted to scream editing it.
You pig.
Yeah, I hated it. But yeah, my face is looking clear today. So yeah, so we can talk about I Am Groot Season 2.
Okay.
You thought the twos were over after last week, but we got more twos.
More twos.
If you recall our first Groot episode went real well. Didn't hinge on us vamping at all.
It was a complete dumpster fire of an episode.
Good news is there's probably more to talk about in this episode than that episode. So
yeah, I think there was a villainous snowman at one point.
There was a villainous snowman. But before we talk about each episode of Groot, you know how this goes. We have to talk about all the information that I have for you. I don't have a box office or a budget because it's a television show, not a movie. But what I can tell you, it was directed by Kirsten Lepore. It was written by Kirsten Lepore. It was created by Kirsten Lepore, as well as it's based off the Marvel comics and stars Vin Diesel. Oh boy, where did my pal go?
I have left.
I don't know why.
You've said Kristen Lepore the max amount of times I've allowed for this stream already.
Oh, you're not gonna like the rest of the stream. Please come back. This is gonna be terrible to edit. Thank you. All right. And so it stars Vin Diesel, and it takes place between Guardians 1 and 2, which we just watched 2 yesterday, or last week, I mean. So if you listened to this episode yesterday, you may have watched it yesterday. I don't know.
Who knows?
Season 2 consists of 5 episodes. Those episode names are You My Groot, Groot Noses Around, Groot's Snow Day, Groot's Sweet Treat, and Groot and the Great Prophecy.
Yeah. I remember the snow one and the Great Prophecy, and I think there was one with some bugs.
There was, and well, I think you're thinking of the one with the birds. There was also the one with the ice cream cone. He had to get his ice cream from the ice cream truck.
Oh yeah, he laid waste to an entire ice cream truck.
Listen, if it happens, it happens. You know what happens.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Jacob, this is the part where you tell us all about I Am Groot Season 2. But it's okay. You don't have to. I can go to the wiki anytime you need me to.
A little birdie told me that you have a wiki open there, but I think the first episode was Groot finds a little bird friend who gets rather tiresome to take care of.
What? No, he doesn't. He just won't let Groot sleep. That's all.
Yeah, and I think the bird shits on his head.
Listen, he was feeding it candy. What did he expect?
And then the bird flies off to its mama bird, which is a much larger version. Not sure how that bird's flying, to be honest.
Hey, listen, it defies the laws of gravity. It's fine. It might be lighter gravity on that planet.
It's highly theorized.
Yeah, and then Groot waves to it and is sad that it's gone and then eats a piece of candy it drops. Let me tell you all my fun facts for Are You My Groot? The title, Are You My Groot, is a reference to Are You My Mother by Dr. Seuss.
Good guy, Dr. Seuss.
I think so. Let's maybe not have a full stance on Dr. Seuss. I feel like he's one of those that could maybe like in like 10 years come out and be like, yeah, so all the dead bodies found in Dr. Seuss's house years after his passing. Oh man. And he really called out those sneeches too.
Yeah, I mean, give it another 10 years. I'm sure there'll be some more tea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So let's not go staking it all on Dr. Seuss here.
Can't wait to get canceled in 10 years.
At the end of this episode, there is a disclaimer at the end that says no tree creatures, terma birds, or big llamas were harmed in the making of this short.
That's relieving.
You'll definitely notice a recurring thing with all my fun facts. Now onto my connection. The connection for this episode, Groot is on the planet Terma. You may recall the planet Terma from last week when I mentioned it is one of the planets that Rocket scrolls through when they're trying to jump to Ego.
Oh.
It's true.
How convenient.
All right. Episode 2, Groot noses around.
Yeah, I don't recall this one at all.
Baby Groot gains the sense of smell after getting a prosthetic nose attached to his face. But after recognizing his place's odor, he decides to detach his face from the nose and go back to his palace or his place.
Yeah, he's gaming, and he hasn't cleaned up in a while. It's a little smelly, but he finds a proboscis and no longer likes the smell.
I like how it's framed like he's gonna clean the room, and he just goes and rips the nose off.
Yeah, that room's not clean.
He's playing a video game, though. It's a fun little video game. Well, let me tell you all about my fun facts. The disclaimer at the end of this video, or at this episode, reads, no tree creatures were harmed in the making of this short, although robotic body parts may have been borrowed for use.
It does appear that way.
Yeah, you know.
I'd say they were more stolen because it wasn't returned, so not really borrowed.
Borrowed, stolen...
Permanently borrowed.
Yeah, permanently borrowed. Highly alleged borrowed.
Yeah, highly alleged borrowing.
Highly borrowed. So here are my connections. Groot plays a video game featuring a Skrull fighter. Skrulls we'll talk about a little bit in the future as an alien race amongst the MCU.
Years from now, we'll talk about this. Maybe.
We'll see. I think you're going to like the next part of this I got planned for us.
Okay.
After phase 3, we might be doing some stuff.
I like stuff as long as it's directed by Kristen Lepore.
I don't think we got anything else directed by Kristen Lepore, but I can throw some Kristen Lepore stuff at you.
Okay.
But so back to my connections here. Howard the Duck appears in this episode or in this video game along with the Valkyrie and Topaz from Ragnarok. They're all background characters.
Interesting. Didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's true. They're all in 8-bit too.
You would let a little Howard the Duck tidbit slide by you.
As I told you last week, do you think there's any point in the MCU where Howard the Duck is that I don't know about?
I think you know where he is at all times. Are you Howard the Duck?
Just wait till we talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. In the bin, Groot rummages around in to find the battery. You can see the eye that Rocket gives to Thor in Infinity War, along with the arm from Rocket's Ladies of Contraxia and the leg from the guy from the first film. It's all the body parts in those bins.
Phase 2 arms.
Yeah, imagine he just pulls out all the phase 2 arms. All right, that's Groot noses around. Now the episode I definitely know you remember, Groot's Snow Day.
Yeah, he faces an abominable snow machine after he brings it to life, basically.
Yeah, it's Frosty the Deadly Killer Snowman.
Yeah, this is one driven snowman.
He's driving with his Tootsies because his Tootsies are tires.
I mean, honestly, I thought if there was going to be any kind of like Rocket cameo or any other Avenger cameo, I thought it would be this episode where they come in and just blast it and save Groot.
Not to like really give away my connections here, but Rocket is in this episode.
Is he?
We'll get to okay. We'll surprise you in connections, but let me read you the little synopsis here first.
Okay.
First of all, this episode is directed by Kirsten Lepore and written by Kirsten Lepore. Released September 6, 2023.
By Chris.
By Kirsten Lepore. After arriving in a snowy planet, Baby Groot builds a snowman on top of a robot who awakens and starts to attack. Finally, he manages to blast the robot and then heads to a spaceship behind where the robot eye turns on him.
Devious robot.
Let me tell you the fun facts of this episode, of course.
Of course.
The disclaimer at the end reads, "No tree creatures were harmed during the making of this short. We cannot speak for the killer Snowbot."
He was harmed.
He was definitely harmed in the making of this episode.
Yeah, I would say he was harmed.
All right, you ready for my my connections here?
Oh, yeah, I am ever so ready.
Groot uses Anulax batteries to decorate his snowman.
Oh, weren't they not to go back to the last episode, but wasn't it Anulax batteries he needed for his controller as well?
The Anulax batteries are the batteries that for that controller. Probably.
That was the nose one because I think he was looking for the batteries.
Yeah, but in the snow day when he uses the Anulax batteries on the actual snowman, that's why the snowman comes to life.
I see.
The Anulax batteries, you may recall, are from Guardians 2.
Yes.
The Harbulary batteries.
The Harbulary batteries.
That is not at all what I said. At the end of this episode, Rocket screams at Groot for throwing cocoa on him.
Oh.
So, get fucked. This is the episode Rocket's in.
Well, not visually.
Kirsten Lepore showed you. You know how much it costs to make Rocket appear in one of these episodes?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. On to episode 4, Groot's Sweet Treat.
This is when he murks an ice cream spaceship just so he can get a nice little tasty ice cream.
That's essentially the episode. Baby Groot sees an ice cream truck spaceship floating out the ship. Wanting to eat some ice cream, Baby Groot searches for money through the ship, ultimately finding some after breaking a claw machine, only to discover the ship has already left. Desperate, Baby Groot chases after the spaceship in a capsule, resulting in a crash that destroys both vehicles as Baby Groot eats the remaining ice cream surrendered by space police.
He's a felon.
He is a felon. He's wanted by the Nova Corps again.
Yeah.
Fun facts, of course.
He was planning to destroy the spaceship. He should have just stolen it.
I bet you're never going to guess what was harmed in the making of this episode.
Was it the spaceship and the ice cream man?
No tree creatures or intergalactic ice cream ships were harmed in the making of this short. All sweet treats were thoroughly sampled and tested for safety reasons.
Of course, you have to.
And then my connections, Groot plays with a Nova Corps action figure at the beginning of this episode. One of the options of ice creams is shaped like Howard the Duck.
You and your Howard the Duck facts.
They're all over this place. It's not my fault. The popsicle that Groot wants is shaped like the celestial Arishem, the Judge, who we'll discuss much later.
I've been wanting to discuss the Judge.
The Judge? Arishem the Judge? You know Arishem the Judge?
I'm familiar, yeah. I've wanted to discuss him for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll have to hold off for a couple of weeks, maybe even months or years.
Oh, wow, okay.
As we're going to move on to the next episode, Groot and the Great Prophecy.
So this is inspired off Indiana Jones. This is a guy who thinks he can't be seen, but Groot can see him.
That's right. I forgot you actually have no idea who this guy is.
It's the Judge.
No, that's the Watcher.
Oh, the Watcher. Yeah, the Watcher's, he can be seen by Groot, and just wants Groot to, steal the stone.
Steal the stone to destroy the stone.
And the prophecy all along was Groot.
Yeah, Groot was the little seedling. All right, let me read you the synopsis.
Okay.
The Watcher, who has previously appeared in Marvel's What If, narrates as Baby Groot wanders through the temple of a sacred seed, but he accidentally loses the seed to burning lava and then the temple collapses. Among the debris, the Baby Groot emerges with leaves grown, and Watcher understood, metaphorically, that Groot is the seed rising from the ground.
So Groot is the prophecy.
So essentially, this episode is confirming that Groot is a god by being able to see the Watcher, as the Watcher is a cosmic being.
Some would say it was the prophesied.
God, I fucking hate you. We'll talk about the Watcher a lot later when we talk about Marvel's What If. He is the main character of Marvel's What If.
So he's the one watching everything. He's it's highly theorized. He's what's his name? Stan Lee.
No. So Stan Lee is the one above all. For years, people thought he was Uatu. This is actually Uatu. This is who everybody thought Stan Lee was. But it is one of the guys that was talking to Stan Lee that one time.
Oh, in Guardians 2?
Yeah, it's not actually one of them because none of them are Uatu. But he's one of those species.
Oh, okay. And Stan Lee's one of those species as well.
Yeah, correct. Well, no. Stan Lee is not one of those species. Stan Lee is the one above all. He's basically essentially God.
Who watches?
Okay. Anyway, here's my fact. At the end of this episode, it says no tree creatures, Dreslar seeds, or ancient temples were damaged or lost during the making of this short. The same could not be said for a certain fifth dimensional being's patience.
Well, I think the seed in the temple.
According to this, there was no harm to the seed.
CGI is what you're saying.
Probably. And here are my connections. Jeffrey Wright cameos as Uatu, who will also meet much further in the future. Groot goes to Dreslar, another planet Rocket scrolled past in Guardians 2. And Groot is one of a few creatures that can be able to see Uatu.
Confirming he's basically a god.
Essentially. We'll talk about one of the only other people who can see Uatu in the future.
I'm guessing it's Tony Stark.
It's
because he is dead.
In a way, so you're not right, but you're also not 100% wrong.
I don't like being 100% right. I like being around 80 to 90% right.
I think you're about 20% right here.
Sweet. That's good.
But yeah, that's it for Groot. A nice, sweet, short one for me to edit so quickly. Will be done no time. I love it. What do I usually say at the end of this? Don't forget to follow on Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok at Marvel Cinematic 101, something MCU, something 101, AJ Slabs and Juicy Snake 12, even though that kid never posts anything. And merch, buy my merch, all that. New episodes of Parasites and Pinheads on Monday, and new episodes of Marvel Cinematic University every Thursday.
Yeah, follow all those things. Maybe I'll post if you're lucky.
We'll never get lucky because you'll end up posting, and that's unlucky.
I see. It's a real catch-22.